I have not been keeping up in the voice acting scene. Fucking freaking Hero Hey uploaded like 3 videos on voice acting. Western VAs run damage control but gets exposed by Genshin fans. English VAs are even getting mocked by the Chinese community. These English voice actors just destroy their careers? Holy shit, dude. Honestly, chat, this is one of the things that like, I want to be a voice actress, but I'm like, these Western VAs kind of like destroy it for everyone else. Did you know that I like one of my like when I saw the girl Blue Bolt or so from whatchamacallit, from Snowbreak, I wanted to voice act that girl or so from Snowbreak. And I'd be like, oh, this character speaks to me so much or so. I would totally do it, and like I would totally go all out, like 110%, like, you know, voice acting on this character. So let's see what's been happening in the voice acting scene. It's been a while since I've like looked in the voice acting scene. It's been kind of like a hot minute. I haven't really been keeping up with it. I've been kind of out of the loop or so. I know there's a SAG Afta, whatever the fuck it's called or so. You know, the voice acting, you know, thing. I can't believe it's still going. I thought that was over by now, but I guess not, you know.
Hope you guys are having a great week, and thank you for tuning in. So a few weeks ago, you may have seen a video I made talking about English voice actors, specifically SAG-AFTRA union members, and how we can see across the internet that public perception has been shifting against those union voice actors more and more.
Really? Really? What? What's the reason? I'm curious. Wow, I've been out of the loop for so long, to be honest.
People criticizing the actions of SAG-AFTRA and their members. Interestingly enough, I actually had 2 different union voice actors come to the comment section of that video angry with the video. But to one VA's credit, she actually deleted her comment after only a few hours of posting it. Probably realized it was a bad move to make that comment, that the stuff she was trying to say about my video was incorrect, and that she was really only making the union VAs look worse. And so I won't be naming that voice actress, but there is another voice actress, the second one who came to my comment section, and her comment is still there. Let's take a look at this. Allegedly from this English voice actress, Cher Kirby says, "This video is full of misinformation. If you're not a member of SAG-AFTRA, maybe don't make videos like this. Thanks." They got a response from only 17 hours ago, actually, that reads, "So you're not allowed to talk about an issue if you're not a member of the protection racket being called out? That's not how it works." Now, interestingly enough, there's a post on the Genshin Impact subreddit from only 7 hours ago calling out the recent actions of Cher Kirby. We're not going to read that just yet.
Wait, this is Candace's VA or so from Genshin Impact? What's been happening? Oh, so this has to be tied into Genshin Impact? Oh god. Oh god, not Genshin Impact fan base again. Oh no. It always comes full circle every single time. It always comes full circle. It's usually like of English VA, and then it just leads back to like Genshin Impact, you know?
Because I'd like to give you all the context, because this whole situation involves many more people than just Cher Kirby, as so many people on the internet right now are calling out union voice actors overall, including SAG-AFTRA itself. So I'll give you the context about what started all that over the last 24 hours or so. And it all begins here on March 26th. This post, with now 2.9 million plus views over on Twitter, from voice actor Jacob Takanashi, makes this announcement about how he's joining Genshin Impact as a new voice actor, saying, "Role announcement. I'm honored to join the English cast of Genshin Impact as the voice of Kinnick. Taking up the mantle of Malipo is a privilege, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to carry the flame from the previous flame bearer, John, who did an incredible job. Those are big shoes to fill, and I promise to give it my all, out of respect for him, for Hoyoverse, and for you, the fans. Thank you to Diana for their amazing direction and for helping me navigate the intricacies of this incredible game, and to Side Tokyo and Hoyoverse for the honor of bringing Kinnick to life. I'm deeply grateful for the privilege of entertaining you all." However, in the responses, we can see a number of voice actors getting very upset at Jacob Takanashi. Comments from Western voice actors, such as Kaylee Mills, saying, "This is actually kinda diabolical. If you need the money, at least take the role uncredited. This just comes off as an easy grab for clout. It's not a good look." Bro,
you're a VTuber. Shut up. That's literally a VTuber. Oh my god, dude. Oh my lord. Bro, that's literally, oh my god, dude. It's always a VTuber. It's always a VTuber, chat. It's always a VTuber. This makes me upset, not gonna lie.
Valeria Rodriguez leaving a number of thumbs down, Stephanie.
No one cares about Valeria, okay? Valeria, we don't talk about Valeria, okay? Valeria Rodriguez has lost her Hispanic card, okay? All right, she's not Hispanic anymore. As a Hispanic delegation, we do not own her, okay?
Saying, there are many reasons why roles get recast. I personally draw the line when the original actor is holding out because they are fighting for better work conditions. I've refused many auditions to take over
All
roles
things
from my
lead back
peers
to
because I'd never do that to another fellow actor. And Karina Botker saying, this wasn't a passing of the torch. Karina being the English voice of Paimon in Genshin Impact, and someone that we'll be coming back to later in this video, as Karina also made other statements relating to the situation that many people in the Genshin fandom are pointing out and exposing for immense hypocrisy. But yeah, these sort of comments from voice actors upset with Jacob go on and on.
Bro, what's wrong with you guys? These are literally VA people acting like a bunch of children. What the fuck is happening in the VA industry? What the fuck is this? Man, at this point, I might as well learn Japanese and be a Japanese VA at this point, you know?
Example, here's another one. Ruben Lack saying, dude, really classless move considering an actor was fighting for AI protections on this job. I appreciate folks want the paycheck, but they should know crossing a picket line is an immediate and permanent black mark. Another voice actor, Luis Bermudez, saying, my hope is you were misled and weren't fully aware that John was withholding his work to fight for a better future for actors everywhere. If that's the case, you have the opportunity to do the funniest thing right now, but if
no,
not,
I would not
and you
say
continue
that.
in this role, yikes, man. It's also not just English VAs leaving negative comments to Jacob, but also various union supporters in general. For example,
what's wrong with you guys? Like, seriously, what is actually wrong with you people, to be honest? I feel like, hey man, more power to you, Jacob, to be honest. Honestly, like, you got a role or so, you know. Well, actually, technically, you're like kind of like filling in the shoes of someone else because, you know, I don't know, some shit happened or so.
Response to Jacob's statement reading, let's call it what it is. You're an effing scab. However, there's also a lot of comments defending Jacob. For example, the comment there in the center reading, y'all harassing him should realize that he's working from Japan. The strike is only happening in America. He's not under the strike in any shape or form just because he does VA work in English.
Yeah, there you go. He's Tokyo based, so.
And other comments like, why pile on the guy? He's a VA based in Japan. They have different labor laws in there. And congrats on your new role. Warning you now that fandoms can be toxic, and apparently other VAs too.
Apparently.
Don't give in. While I do think any Genshin fan would admit that the Genshin fandom can be toxic,
yeah,
it's really interesting because in this particular situation, it seems like the Genshin fandom at large is actually defending Jacob. And we'll get to that when we hop over to the Genshin subreddit in a moment. First, we'll get some more.
If they ever remake what's the name? Dragon's Guard 3 or so, I'll voice act as 5 for you guys. I would do it. I would find some kind of way or so, even if I have to beg for it, I would do it.
Additional context, that takes us over to...
I should probably redo my voice acting demo reel, to be honest. I really have not done it, to be honest.
John Patnoid. Hopefully I said that right. This is the voice actor who got replaced by Jacob. John says, hey everyone, if you've been playing the latest 5.5 update in Genshin Impact and you're hearing Cliques speak for the first time in 6 months, it's not my voice. I've been recast. I've been withholding voiceover services during the SAG-AFTRA interactive strike because Hoyo/Cognosphere would not offer AI protections in the form of a SAG interim agreement. Now let's pause there real quick because this is something a lot of people are taking issue with. Specifically how it comes off like these union voice actors and executives are conveniently leaving things out and really only telling the public certain bits of information.
Okay.
And simultaneously trying to have all the public support them as if they're entitled to the public supporting their cause no matter what. Especially with how these negotiations may negatively impact non-union voice actors. And all this has been costing the union voice actors support. A lot of people are no longer willing to support the union VAs. And as has been a recurring theme throughout this video so far, that's something else we'll also be getting into more details about in a moment once we get through the rest of this context. So back to the statement. John says, they'd kept my character's dialogue silent for months, all the while I had to make the difficult decision to continue not going in until an interim agreement was signed, and this ultimately was why I was recast. Now obviously a recast is not what I wanted. I'd hope that any progress behind the scenes would be made, and I could come back safely, or that if recast auditions went out, my colleagues wouldn't read for them. Unfortunately, I was wrong. I absolutely adored playing Cliques. Genshin was my comfort game during the early parts of the pandemic, and it was a dream of mine to book a playable character. At the time, I didn't have an agent, didn't live in LA, or had any connections that would get me close. But 4 years later, I did it, and the messages I've received from you all, saying how much my performance as Kinnick meant to you, made my heart swell. I would and can return if Hoyo invites me back and signs an interim. I stand by my choices regardless of the outcome. Also, the strike is still ongoing. Please don't believe disinformation on the internet. My best wishes to the cast and the production team. Thank you for everything, JP.
I thought this was already over, to be honest. God, this is still continuing? Jesus. Holy cow. How long has it been now? It feels like it's been on forever.
Right, with all that context, that takes us over to the Genshin Impact subreddit as previously mentioned. In this post reading, Kaching's VA, Kaching being a character from Genshin, used their character to attack Kinnick's new VA. Are we just going to accept this nonsense? Kinnick's new VA, Jacob Takanashi, is currently being bullied by some VAs, including those who voiced Genshin characters like Paimon's VA, Karina, and Kaching's VA, Kaylee Mills. In Jacob's announcement post, Kaylee Mills attacked Jacob for
You know, that's the worst part about it. It makes like Western VAs like really bad. Like, why do you think like most of the time when I go to like conventions and stuff like that, I don't really like, you know how like they have those booths or so, like they have like the English VAs and everything, right? I don't really like interact with those because it's kind of like, it's like not really. It started in July 26th of 2024. Wow, we're almost 1 year into this. Jesus, almost. Like, there's only like a handful of like voice actors and actresses that I respect or so. As long as they don't do any of these shenanigans, right? One of them, of course, is Amelie. You know, I gotta respect Amelie, you know, and her work and everything like that. So I can't really hate her. That's one of the VAs that I kind of look up to these day and ages, you know. One of the other ones is, of course, our good old friend Sea-Dog VA, you know. The other one, one of my other favorite ones specifically. Hey, Mercury. Amma doing great work. I love Amma. Amma's cool. The other one is one of my favorite, Caitlin. Caitlin is one of my other favorite, you know, VAs that I like. I knew her just recently or so, but even then I was just like, wow, you're a VA. That's so cool. Take care, Mercury. Be safe. But yeah, Amelie, Sea-Dog VA, and Caitlin Myers are the ones that I look up to quite a lot or so when it comes to English. Yeah, I know she's doing super well. I'm super proud of her, to be honest.
I'm
proud of her.
When someone disagreed with her, she said, I guarantee you Kaching would be doing the work to educate people and do what's best for the people. What do you think about this? I feel bad for Kinnick's new VA. He's just doing his job. He's not a US VA. Here's his post. As of recording, that post over on Reddit collecting over 4,200 upvotes and over 1,800 comments. The top comment on that post saying, wish she talked this much when people called her out for supporting Mosey's old VA, who is a sexual abuser. She supported him? She supported him in 2020 when he posted his statement, then congratulated him when his role was announced. She doubled down here. Apparently, another one of his supporters, Sam's VA from HSR, Honkai Star Rail, is also one of the current VAs targeting Jacob right now. Funny how that's a correlation they both have.
What's wrong with you?
It's seriously starting to look like a clique, or some sort of Nepo circle, to be honest. That's a very reasonable assessment, and something a lot of anime and gaming fans came to realize, especially around 2019, as the whole situation with Vic and Funimation at all put a giant spotlight on the corrupt and cliquey part of the industry. Another set of top comments reading, man, what the frick is going on with English VAs? Same as always. Not even Zenless Zone Zero and Honkai Star Rail VAs were very supportive of the new VAs that replaced former ones, who also were fired from the strike. Genshin VAs are incredibly petty and acting like a clique now, not a professional look. I learned my lesson after the Bayonetta fiasco. They're all a bunch of drama queens.
I remember the Bayonetta VA issue. I remember that.
What do you mean? Bayonetta's original VA lied about the studio trying to screw her pay for the third game and asked fans to boycott it. Until they being the studio, showed receipts and proved she was making it up. Yeah, that situation was crazy.
What's wrong
she literally
with people?
tried to get the internet to be her personal
English
army,
VAs?
and then it came out that she was basically lying to people according to my recollection and was completely in the wrong. That takes us to a number of top comments specifically calling out Paimon's voice actor as well for hypocrisy, and as further evidence for how cliquey the English voice actors are, how they'll choose some people to go after, but give others a pass. For example, this comment reading, Paimon's VA is pissing me off the most. Technically I'm scabbing, but it's okay because I'm autistic and have to pay my bills.
That's not an excuse. That is not an excuse whatsoever. Damn, we really are throwing the word that I'm autistic, so I have to, you know, you guys gotta be okay with me now.
Like what? You don't know what the frick is going on in anybody's life but your own. He could be disabled, he being Jacob Takanashi. His mom could have cancer. He could be trying to feed his dang kids, or heaven forbid, he could have nothing going on and just wants a paycheck, and you know what? That's his business and no one else's.
Yeah, exactly.
Let the man be proud to be a part of such a big, successful project and stop being such a hypocrite. A different top post on our Genshin Impact saying Paimon, Kaching, and Cabaret's VAs responding to Jacob Takanashi, Kinnick's new VA. I kind of feel bad for Kinnick's new VA. And showing a number of tweets from the aforementioned voice actors saying negative things about Jacob Takanashi. Many of those we already went over earlier in the video, so let's skip to the comments. This one's saying, oh wow, even Hoot House VA is going after the new guy. And showing this screenshot, we haven't seen this one yet. This VA, Brianna, responding to John, the prior VA for Kinnick statement, which we read earlier, saying, thank you for standing strong and holding the line with us. You're a real one. Clears throat. Some of us, SMFH. But if we take a look at the comments in response to her, they're pretty much all against her. For example, going through this just from the top.
Can we get like a reformat on like English VAs now? Can I be like the Donald Trump for English VAs, where we can make English VAs great again, and we can like actually hire people on their work and not on like their race or something, because you know a person's black or so they have to play a black character or something like that, you know? Hey Clegg, yeah, be like Snowbreak. Can I be the Donald Trump of VA or something like that, where we make VAs great again? Playing SAG-AFTRA. I don't know anything about SAG-AFTRA, to be honest. I don't know anything about it. I don't really follow it, to be honest. I'm just kind of like, I just want to be a VA actress, you know? But I gotta work my way. Go for president for the VA industry. Maybe in the future I'll probably set up my own VA booth or something, you know? Sure, you can also build a wall to keep out all those bad VAs. Yeah, of course, because we only hire... I prefer to hire people on their portfolios, in my personal opinion, you know? That's how I look at people. Show me your portfolios. Show me your voices. Show me what you got, you know? Entertain me. How big is your range of voices, you know? Why is it so hard for all these actors to keep their mouths shut? It's just bad for their career every time. It always is, you know? I have no idea. Zach just wants to control of the VA industry. I feel like there's like a more bigger plot in this entire situation, you know? Yes, we will vote for you. I thought you were going to say, how big is your forehead? What do you mean?
At this point, companies should just give up on English voice actors whatsoever. It worked for Snowbreak, it can work for all of them. And side note, if you're not familiar with the Snowbreak thing, I did go over that briefly at the end of the video I mentioned.
Dude, I'm so pissed off that the English VAs for fucking Snowbreak literally ruined it for everyone else, dude. I fucking hate them, dude. I hate those English VAs who actually literally straight up ruined it for everyone else, dude. It sucks, because that means that just means we have no job anymore, you know? So
part of this one regarding my last coverage of this English VA stuff, so consider checking that out for more info on that. Other comments like, y'all are pieces of garbage, man. Gotta love the hypocrisy and self-righteousness. Honestly, seeing some of the other VAs attack someone for taking a job, I hope you all get
Why would you even attack?
Yeah, there's just dozens.
Here, let me voice act as Paimon, you know? I'll voice act as Paimon, not gonna lie, to be honest. I'll even use my normal monotone voice, and I'll even voice act as Paimon for you guys. Oh, Traveler, look, there's something here that's happening, you know? Traveler, we gotta go over here to save the story, you know? Traveler, we have to go save your sister, you know? Snowbreak is a good game. I almost using the real money, almost. Nothing of value was lost? What do you mean nothing of value was lost? Are you saying that I'm not worth it to become a VA? Damn, Ghost Thief, I see how it is. I see how it is. You're not a true believer over here.
Dozens of comments roasting this VA, but I don't want to get too sidetracked from the Paimon stuff, because there's actually still a lot more to go over regarding that part of the whole thing. For example, back over on Reddit, this comment with over 1,800 upvotes saying, how nice of Karina, Paimon's VA, to support VAs not getting paid while cashing a check every patch. Also, while having the most lines means most likely getting paid the most. Like, aren't they the #1 person with the most influence and pull if they stroked? Struck. There are many other top comments over on Reddit calling out Karina, but let's hop back over to Twitter, because there are various comments on Twitter calling Karina out directly, to which Karina even responded.
Oh no, she responded to it too? Oof. Oh god.
This exchange, we can see where Karina had said to Jacob Takanashi, "This wasn't a passing of the torch." And this user Luminescence saying, "And you working on it is still good for the strike?" Like, make it make sense. Karina then responded with this set of tweets saying, "No, you're right. I am technically scabbing. I originally have this role and technically I can still work this role. I am a disabled person, and this is the job that puts food on my table, as I actually record this role year round. But I didn't take this role from another person who was striking. I had this role, and I am stuck in it because I have no other way to pay my medical bills. But yes, technically I am a scab, and you're right, I don't deserve any praise right now. I don't deserve any of it. I deserve to be told off just like this actor, so please do. No one should look up to me. I'm trapped and a coward because I continue this job because if not, I end up homeless. I don't say that because I deserve sympathy. I don't. The ones sticking to the picket line deserve all the praise, not me. I love voicing Paimon. Love it. I've been through so much that you guys will never truly understand. But I also know what I am, and I should not be given any applause for this. If I could feasibly stick the line with my fellow actors, I
also, I think she misspelled a couple words too as well.
would.
Sorry.
This job
I'm not an English major, but like I see a couple words that she misspelled.
Barely keeps me alive. But that doesn't mean that it makes it different. It is not a good thing to my fellow actor that I continue to work on this game. I have struggled with that since the strike started, so call me out for this. Please, I deserve it. If it means we get closer to making things better, then so be it. The top response to Karina saying, "So what? Many disabled people work remotely in other professions.
Yeah.
Voice acting is not your only option if it puts you in such an unethical position.
Yeah.
But you have to seek attention on twitter.com like a 16-year-old
Yep.
and present yourself like a saint
Yep.
in the whole community." Karina responding saying, "I definitely don't present myself as a saint, but you don't know my disability and what I am able to do. Same way you don't know any other VA situations either. Imagine someone shamed you for just trying to make ends meet, which at this point may as well be warranted. There's also a difference between taking a role quietly and bragging about getting it when the other VA was recast for striking.
That's true.
He wasn't even aware of the situation. He lives in Japan. Y'all are so out of touch."
Facts.
So let me know what you think about the Karina stuff. Do you think Karina's response
But she's autistic. Is that really her disability? Is that she's autistic? Okay. Still not an excuse for you to be a dick towards someone still.
was good, that the points are fair? Or do you think it's an example of hypocrisy from these voice actors, or perhaps something else? Moving on to the next VA, that takes us back to Shara Kirby in this post that says, "Shara Kirby, Candace VA, opinion on Hoyo and Genshin's fanbase." This once again being the VA who allegedly left a comment on my video, where Shara Kirby is apparently over on Blue Sky saying, in response to Jacob Takanashi's announcement post, "This gotta be the most classless thing I've seen with everything going on. Have fun with Genshin. You'll never work on anything else, LMFAO." It's also interesting how they're recording in Japan for English dub now. Wow, cool. Go to bed and recast me too while you're at it. Screw Hoyo, disrespectfully. Because let's be frank, who's gonna beat me over a video game that underpays its performers and is actively farming their voice?
Jesus Christ.
So that they don't have to hire real people? I do hope it was worth it, truly I do. You'll never catch me singing that company or any company that operates that way to a simple request of protecting the talents they hired. Singing praises for, sorry, not sorry, I rage quit. One more thing. I have never dealt with a fanbase as callous and as annoying as the Genshin fanbase, who would go so far as to berate the voice actors.
I think they should just recast the entire cast, in my personal opinion, Igni. I don't support that because that means you're just kind of like closing off jobs for a lot of people, you know? I prefer for them to just recast, you know, the people who are actually like causing problems.
Only want better protections and rates for being rightfully upset that someone publicly scabbed. Just insanity. The only other one I've dealt with like this is the Murder Drones fanbase, and only one of those doxed me. I'm not in the business of arguing and fighting with children. I'm gonna delete some of that thread later, because this is a semi-professional page, but TLDR,
right.
Don't talk to me about Genshin Impact ever again. KK. Top comments to that post reading, The United States isn't the only place where English is spoken well.
True.
Also, there are US citizens across the world right now working remotely. I'm confused too, since when English becoming exclusive to US and US only? Apparently, Hoyo's characters are theirs and only theirs to voice. They just forgot to notify Hoyo about that. Another top comment in that exchange saying, well, that's one of the most unprofessional resignations I've ever seen. If I was a voice caster for any other field of work, I'd probs not hire her based on this alone.
True.
It's so unprofessional and going into unhinged territory.
True.
Honestly, I won't be surprised if Hoyo is now gathering all this to bring all of them to the negotiating table and have a word with what they just said regarding Jacob. Those may be personal accounts, but I imagine Hoyo doesn't want a bunch of VAs going around starting a civil war with other VAs.
Facts.
And make it look like Hoyo's VAs are some cult. There's a pretty well understood line where your personal account ends, and it's right around where you start bad-mouthing the company that pays your salary, lol. It's one thing if these VAs were trashing on each other, purely on principle, but they're literally name-dropping the game and the company, and that's a huge no-no in any job. It reflects poorly on the company. Hope she's prepared to explain these tweets to her future employers. This is just hot air. There's no way they actually put their money where their mouth is and resign. Doesn't matter, because that statement is basically all Hoyo needs to get her to never voice for them ever again. Whether she wants to backtrack or not, this can be considered a surefire resignation in Hoyo point of view, due to the atrocious mannerisms and statements made by her. Yep, she basically burned every single bridge of possibility that she'll ever get cast in a Hoyoverse game ever again. And I'm sure there'll be some game companies that see this as well, and would prefer not to take in a VA this volatile in their games. What a way to sabotage your VA career.
True.
Essentially, the entire post is criticizing her. Let me know what you think about that part of the situation. And finally, we'll take a look at some public reception for the SAG-AFTRA agreement overall. On a post about the agreement terms, we see top comments like this. Bruh, so if Hoyo is forced to sign, all non-union VAs are effectively forced to join the union in a month or else, which would limit them to only American VAs, giving the union a monopoly over the English voice acting in all the affected projects. I know it's Reddit, but countries other than America exist. Not necessarily only American VAs, but SAG actors.
Yeah, just hire me, you know, as one of the VAs for English VAs. I can speak English, even though English is not my first language. I can still do it.
Majority of which are American. It's semantic, but non-Americans can join SAG if they work in the US. Many VAs don't want to join a mafia organization. The mafia is asking for membership protection fees plus continuous fees. It sucks every money from VA. Meanwhile, all the union VAs are crying about being misinfo when someone points this out. They're doing the it's us or them, and they pick themselves. They're more than willing to screw over non-union VAs, because why do they get to make money while I'm jobless? Even though studios like Studio Cadence, ZZZ, have non-AI clause and supports negotiations about AI with SAG, yet these VAs kept pushing AI as an issue to sign the agreement. Bold to assume that the kind of people who go online and harass a colleague are actually smart people. I bet that 80% didn't even read or grasp what they are striking for, but just get the TLDR from their agent/agency.
True.
Interestingly enough,
True.
some union voice actors are attempting to say that the union actually does care about non-union actors. For example, in this tweet by Koi Dao, part of it reads, during the strike, the SAG negotiating committee has expressed they want to help non-union actors keep their jobs and are willing to negotiate a waiver for the must-join rule for any project that needs it. But this person, Lynn, responds, saying, I don't know. I remember the video from the SAG guy who said non-union VAs are lesser than union VAs, which was deleted after the backlash.
Oh, I see. Wow. Wow, smart move. Smart move on that, huh? To actually say that comment, huh?
So I can't really believe they want to help the non-unions, lol. Once again, we have Karina Bodiger here saying, you mean the one that wasn't even said during this strike? Keep up, this is a different strike now. Also, the entire union screamed at him for that. Give you additional
chat. Sometimes. Maybe we should probably do a journey or so on being a voice actress. Maybe we'll do a journey on it maybe one day.
Context,
Maybe.
I believe it was Duncan Crabtree Ireland, the National Executive Director and Chief Negotiator for SAG-AFTRA, who made those disparaging remarks towards non-union actors, specifically saying that they're quote-unquote lesser quality. So while some
we're
union
lesser
members
quality
gave him
is what you're
backlash
saying,
on social
right?
media for
Non-union
those
actors?
remarks, doesn't seem like there's any serious action taken against him. It seems like he still has that top executive position. And furthermore, it seems like his position at the union is getting him a salary of over $1 million a year. Lastly, on SAG-AFTRA's own website, they have a section dedicated to talking about financial core. A brief summary of financial core reads, financial core refers to a legal carve-out that permits workers opposed to participating in a labor union to be employed under the benefits of a union's contracts without compelling them to be a member of that union. In which SAG-AFTRA says, financial core members are viewed as scabs or anti-union by SAG-AFTRA members, directors, and writers, most of whom also belong to entertainment unions. And as you surely know, scab is used as a derogatory term for people who are not a part of the union or who cross picket lines, etc., etc. The point is,
I thought when they said scab or so, I thought it was like the thing on your skin or something like that. Man, these people come up with the most craziest names, in my personal opinion. I think unions are good things, but the strong arm tactics are too much. It's because the way how they're doing it, or the way how they're approaching it, is not the best way, in my personal opinion. That's just the only thing, you know.
While some union members attempt to say that SAG-AFTRA really does care about people who are not a part of the union, it seems like the union's own actions and terms, as well as this whole situation recently with a number of union VAs and how they've treated Jacob, has caused many people to be skeptical, to say the least. But anyways, let me know what you think about this stuff in the comments. Hope you enjoyed my coverage, and if you did, please consider liking and or subscribing. Appreciate ya, and I'll see you in the next one. Hope you guys are happy.
Wow. So this is what's been happening in the VA industry. I have not been keeping up whatsoever. I've just been kind of doing my own thing, unfortunately. So, Jesus Christ. And we're not even done though. Like, there's like 2 more videos on this, which is the craziest thing about it. We're not even done. These voice actors want gamers banned for exposing them. What the fuck is going on over here? And it's always the Genshin. It's literally the Genshin. I really need to get the Genshin community banned for misinformation. Oh my god, what is going on here? Anyways, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff. Yeah, do I want to be a voice actress? Yeah, of course I want to be a voice actress. I still need to do the work for it, but the problem is I haven't had time to do most of the stuff because, you know, as much as I quote unquote do technically live on the internet, unfortunately I'm mostly doing a lot of editing and and all those other shenanigans. So, but anyways, that's the end of the video. I've not been keeping up with the voice acting industry, and there's still more. So get ready for part 2. That's the end of the video, and peace.